5 on Your Side at 10 starts now.
A lemonade stand that could help one little girl learn to walk again.
I know people are supporting me even if I don't know them.
Ella's first steps towards taking hers.
While there is a rain chance by Monday afternoon, it's doubtful many of us will see much in the gauge. But by Tuesday, there's at least more of a fall feel to the air. We're tracking those changes coming this week.
Our top story, experts weigh in on the deadly St. Louis shooting of a car thief.
The minute the thief pulls out a gun, then the car owner can use lethal force.
But if he doesn't point a gun at you, you have no right to shoot this man, even if he's in the driveway of your house stealing your car.
We dig into the case and what is protected when it comes to self-defense.
Tonight, we're learning more about a man suspected of car theft who was shot and killed in the Boulevard Heights neighborhood. Good evening, I'm Laura Barcheski. Mike Bush has the night off. 5 on Your Side's Annie Krall talked with neighbors about what happened and gets more from legal experts about the fine line between self-defense and protecting property.
An attempted car theft gone awry.
Crime does not pay.
Just after 5 a.m. on Saturday, St. Louis Metro Police say a man was killed while trying to break into cars in the 3800 block of Tesson Court. A neighbor confronted the man and someone else he was with. That's when police say one of the suspects allegedly pulled out a gun and the neighbor shot at them.
The minute the thief pulls out a gun, then the car owner can use lethal force.
One of the suspected car thieves was hit. The other ran off. If you're ever in a similar situation, professor at St. Louis University School of Law, Anders Walker, recommends not engaging.
If you see someone stealing your car, you cannot shoot or you could be charged with murder. You have to call the police or wait until the thief pulls a gun on you.
Neighbors didn't want to go on camera, but say the street is largely made up of either former or current city police and firefighters.
If someone's stealing your car and you come out and you point a gun at the thief, then you might be considered the initial aggressor. You might lose your right to self-defense. As an American, you can carry a gun, you just can't point it at somebody. That's an assault.
One man who's lived in the neighborhood for more than 30 years said he heard what sounded like a shotgun and dogs barking while he was still in bed. Private security expert Mike Barberry says you do have a right to defend yourself.
If he points a gun at you, you're obviously in danger of your life and you can shoot him. But if he doesn't point a gun at you, you have no right to shoot this man, even if he's in the driveway of your house stealing your car.
Police said a gun was recovered at the scene. Not long after, security cameras were put up in the same spot on Saturday night to hopefully deter future break-ins.
Well, here's the message to most car thieves. Most of them are very young kids, okay? They're 15, 16 years old, 17 years old. They have to prove a point to their friends, okay? But you want to prove a point to your friends. In the process, you may get killed. So the best bet is not to go around stealing cars.
Police say the investigation is ongoing. If you have any information, you're asked to call the number on your screen for Crime Stoppers, which is 866-371-TIPS. Reporting in St. Louis, Annie Krall, 5 on Your Side.
Police are still looking for the second suspect and have not identified the man who was killed. The bi-state is in for somewhat of a cool down this week. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell has our weather impact forecast heading into the work week. Scott.
Yeah, we're still on the dry side tonight. We had another day today with temperatures in the mid-80s. We have one more to go tomorrow. Skies have been mainly clear this evening around St. Louis at nearly full moon rising. It will be full tomorrow. 86 degrees was our high today. The morning low only 63. We're in the same territory tomorrow. But see that front to our north and west? It's the game changer. Not only does it bring us cooler air, but it will bring some of us some rain. Just won't be happening tomorrow morning for the early morning rush hour. We should be mostly clear. We should see temperatures in the 60 out the door, but rain chances will increase going into tomorrow afternoon, especially in southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, and then far northern Missouri. Not as much so around the metro area. We have a chance for some isolated or widely scattered showers or thunderstorms around St. Louis, but most of it's going to be east and south of us, and that'll be the case Tuesday as all of it pushes away. So what's coming our way? Well, some of us will see some rain Monday into Tuesday, but not everybody sees rain. Most of us are going to end up with very little in the rain gauge, and it definitely feels more like October by Tuesday with highs only in the 70s. We'll see you in a few minutes, Laura.
All right, thanks, Scott. Drivers were stuck in traffic on I-55 near Festus for the second Sunday in a row. A crash closed lanes for over an hour. It happened just before 3 o'clock, not far from Highway 67. Missouri State Highway Patrol says it was a 3-car crash and a child was injured, closing the southbound left lane and all northbound lanes. All southbound and northbound lanes are fully open now. And last Sunday, 3 people were killed and several others were hurt in a crash in the same area. Tonight, a large fire response was at a strip mall in Cahokia Heights. Smoke could be seen coming from the roof of the building on Camp Jackson Road. Firefighters on scene tell us 46 of them responded from 8 different departments. They eventually had to cut open the roof to access the source of the fire. Nobody was injured. We've reached out to the Cahokia Heights Fire Department about a cause, but have not heard back yet. Tonight, a highway is damaged after a crash with 3 semis turned into a massive fire. It happened on I-44 near the Phelps and Pulaski County line. The Doolittle fire chief tells us 3 people were injured but are expected to be okay. As crews arrived, one of the trailers was engulfed in flames. There were multiple explosions. Initial reports say 1 semi crossed the median and hit another head on. The crash caused 300 gallons of diesel fuel to spill and burn the top layer of the road. It took crews 3 hours to clean it up. MoDOT and the Missouri Department of Natural Resources emergency response team helped mitigate the spill. University of Missouri President Moon Choi is getting a first-hand look at the downtown Columbia atmosphere just a week after a shooting killed a college student. Choi invited business leaders for a walkthrough of the city starting at 11:30 last night. Last week, Stevens College student Ayanna Williams was shot and killed downtown. She was an innocent bystander to an argument that turned into gunfire. The shooting led President Choi to address what he called a crime crisis in Columbia.
What I hear uniformly is, this is not the Columbia that people remember. It is much more dangerous, and that they don't feel safe going out.
The city of Columbia and Mizzou announced a plan with immediate action items to address crime. Among them are increased staffing at Columbia and MU police departments, continued foot patrols downtown, and support from the Highway Patrol and the Boone County Sheriff's Office. This morning, Missouri honored firefighters who died in the line of duty. A memorial service was held in Kingdom City. They honored Assistant Chief Matthew Tobin, who died rescuing others from swift-moving water in Bear Creek. He served Franklin and Boone counties for 19 years. And closer to home here, Captain James Kova died due to a medical emergency. He served St. Louis County for 26 years. Their names, along with 8 others, were added to a monument.
Yet they were willing to risk all that they possessed in their own lives to protect people they had never met. They answered a calling and committed to serve as protectors and guardians. And they renewed that commitment each time they answered the alarm bell.
This comes after Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe proclaimed October 5th as Fire Service Memorial Day in the state. A Wentzville girl is selling lemonade for a good cause. 12-year-old Ella Schlitzel is raising money for a stem cell treatment to fight a chronic condition. 5 on your side's Reagan DeTrolio reports on how this might help her take her first steps ever.
I want to be able to walk again. What does that mean to you?
Well, to actually do it, I've been trying to accomplish it a long time. So it just makes me really happy.
12-and-a-half-year-old Ella Schlitzel has almost always been confined to this wheelchair. Her mom, Ashley, says Ella was born extremely early and as a result diagnosed with cerebral palsy.
She's had a spinal surgery at Children's. She's had a hip surgery at Children's. She's had another hip surgery at Children's where they've actually worked on her hips to correct her hip dysplasia. She spends a lot of time in therapy.
And the stem cell transfusions Ella needs aren't cheap.
It costs, just for the procedure alone, is $15,000. And then you can get more than one, so our hope is to get more than one if she were to need it, and then get her the best therapies afterwards as well.
This local barbershop here in Wentzville heard about Ella's story online, and now, as you can see, they're helping her host this lemonade stand. Each cup sold can make a difference in Ella's life.
They're helping me get enough money so I can get a stem cell transplant, which could help me walk in 3 to 6 months.
What we do raise, we're going to put to the things she needs, whether it be another transfusion, whether it needs to be more therapy. At some point, we'll probably need to get her new medical equipment. She is in a wheelchair right now, but she might My hope is she'll get to move on to like canes and then hopefully nothing at all.
Ella's family says their community has been a tremendous help throughout this tiring medical journey.
I know people are supporting me even if I don't know them.
Reporting in Wentzville,
It just makes me so happy.
I'm Reagan DeTrolio, 5 on your side.
Ella's parents say next Tuesday she will get her first stem cell transfusion at Duke University in North Carolina. If you couldn't make it to Ella's lemonade stand today, we will have a link on KSDK.com where you can help.
Coming up, a shutdown stalemate.
They're not serious. This is not a serious negotiation.
Well, unfortunately, Republicans are lying because they're losing.
On the 5th day of the shutdown, congressional leaders are firm on their demands.
And if these Affordable Care Act tax credits are allowed to expire, premiums and health care costs are going to skyrocket.
Because Obamacare is not working. We're trying to fix it.
The drought lingers on, and any rain chance over the next couple of days isn't going to do much to alleviate the dry conditions when the cooler air arrives, and why rainfall is expected to be so limited.
It's the 5th day of the government shutdown standoff. Federal employees and Americans across the country are starting to feel the effects. Today, top congressional leaders held firm on their demands, likely meaning the shutdown will drag on this week. The Senate so far has failed to pass a funding bill 4 times since last week. Democrats are pressuring Republicans to extend health care subsidies, but the GOP says the issue should wait until the end of the year. Today, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says Democrats haven't been able to negotiate since last week.
That's not responsible behavior. As Democrats, our view is that we will find bipartisan common ground with our Republican colleagues to reopen the government, to actually pass a spending bill that meets the needs of the American people. But we have to decisively address this Republican health care crisis that is devastating hardworking American taxpayers.
House Speaker Mike Johnson joined other Republicans in blaming the shutdown on Democrats.
The reason the government is closed is because Chuck Schumer and 43 of his Democrat colleagues in the Senate have decided now to vote multiple times to keep the government closed. We need them to turn the lights back on so that everyone can do their work.
President Trump has threatened mass federal layoffs in addition to the federal workers already furloughed. It's unclear when those layoffs could come. Millions of people who rely on SNAP benefits and family aid could be at risk of losing the help during the government shutdown. As Jen Sullivan reports, these crucial programs are now relying on reserve funds until the government passes a new spending plan.
This is baby Zave. He's now 1.5 and thriving. But his mom, Ashley Vasquez, says that wasn't always the case.
He just didn't have an appetite and he wasn't putting on weight.
Zave was put on special nutritional drinks that his family received through WIC, federal funded program for women, infants, and children. It provides aid to more than 6 million low-income families to help cover expenses for food, breastfeeding support, and health education. But that money could soon be at risk if the government shutdown continues.
For really young children whose sole source of nutrition may be infant formula, the loss of WIC would be absolutely devastating because their families don't have other options.
Nell Menifee-Leiby with the National WIC Association says if the government doesn't pass a spending bill within the next 2 weeks, funding will likely run out.
That really puts us in a crisis point very quickly.
Funding for other assistance programs like the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP could also be at risk. Roughly 42 million people depend on SNAP to help cover groceries. October's benefits were already sent out, but come November 1st, it's unclear whether people will receive assistance as politicians continue to debate.
Republicans refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credit.
This is not about health care. This is about Democrats wanting to show their progressive left base that they are fighting against Donald Trump.
Meanwhile, it leaves vulnerable parents like Ashley Vasquez unsure how they're going to pay for their families. Jen Sullivan, 5 on your side.
You can find everything you need to know about the government shutdown on KSDK.com. Just text the word shutdown to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link. Tonight, a mass shooting in Alabama has 2 people dead and more than a dozen injured. It happened last night in downtown Montgomery, the capital of Alabama. Police say 2 groups started shooting at each other in the middle of a crowd. 14 people were shot. A 14-year-old and a 43-year-old died from their injuries. 5 of the victims have life-threatening injuries, while 7 are expected to be okay. At this hour, a suspect is not in custody. Tonight, President Trump authorized 400 Texas National Guard troops to go to Chicago. President Trump says their mission will be to protect federal officers and property there. Heated protests at ICE facilities have led to multiple arrests. The president said today Chicago needs to be, quote, straightened out, citing recent crime, while Governor Pritzker says authorities at the protests are inciting the violence.
But 55 people died over a short period of time. You're telling me there's no city in the world like that. We're going to straighten it out.
He's saying that, Chicago is a war zone. None of that is true. They're just making this up. And then what do? They fire tear gas and smoke grenades, and they make it look like it's a war zone.
In a statement tonight, Governor Pritzker called on Texas Governor Greg Abbott to refuse to cooperate, saying, quote, there is no reason a president should send military troops into a sovereign state without their knowledge, consent, or cooperation. California Governor Gavin Newsom says President Donald Trump ordered 300 members of California's National Guard to Oregon. Within the last hour, a judge blocked this deployment. This comes a day after a federal judge temporarily blocked the president's plan to deploy members of Oregon's National Guard to Portland. The Trump administration plans to appeal the ruling, saying the National Guard is needed to help protect ICE agents in the city. Now Newsom says he'll sue Trump to stop the deployment. Turning now to our weather impact forecast. We have another hot day ahead, just one, but Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is going to fill us in on a small rain chance, Scott.
Yeah, the rain chances are there for later tomorrow into tomorrow night. With this front approaching, really, there's two factors here that we're looking at tonight. One, some of the moisture that's down to our south. There were spots in some of those beaches there in Alabama and the panhandle of Florida that had some pretty heavy rain today. And along the front itself, we have thunderstorms and some good rains occurring to our north and west right now. But it looks like that's going to fade some along the front, while this moisture that's down to our south, even though it's trying to creep towards us, it tends to get shunted off to the south and southeast of us just a little bit. One thing for sure, though, it is much cooler behind the front, and that we can guarantee you will be sliding towards the St. Louis area. We could use some rain. Not sure you're going to see too much of it. Roy sent this in from Franklin County, down in southwest Franklin County. Already have the hay bales out from the crop, from this year's crop, because it's so dry right now. There's really not a lot out there, so they're kind of conserving things. But it's a little early to be getting the hay bales out from this year to feed the animals, but when it's dry, it's dry. The areas that are most likely to see the rain, south and east of us, and then along the front to the north and west. Where are we? Sandwiched in the middle. St. Louis doesn't have a very big chance for rain here. Yes, there will be some isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, but your better options for more widespread rain to the south and southeast. What we're a little concerned about for tomorrow, between 1 and 9 tomorrow afternoon, if we get a few showers, especially if it's during rush hour, just some light showers tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening in the metro area could make a mess of the evening rush hour because we haven't had rain in so long. So you have a lot of oil and grease on the roads. That and water does not mix well. Your better chances for more substantial rain to our south and southeast. We're talking Centerville, Ironton, Fredericktown, Farmington, St. Genevieve, over towards Nashville, Illinois. Metro area north and west, much more scattered, less of it, and so lesser amounts in the rain gauge. Again, many of us probably get very little, if any, rain. Fronts through here on Tuesday. Don't think there's a lot of rain on Tuesday, maybe a couple of showers south and east of St. Louis, but it will be a lot cooler Tuesday during the day. And then the mornings back off. By Thursday morning, most of us are back into the 40s with our low in St. Louis at 50. It is 75 right now. 86 was our high. Tonight, we stay in the 60s. This is when we're out the door tomorrow morning. Still relatively mild for this time of year. Afternoon temperatures tomorrow in the mid-80s once again. And then after that, we're cooling off a bit. And we may not be cool enough here for Wednesday and Thursday, but at least only in the low to mid-70s for highs before we rebound close to 80 for the upcoming weekend.
Time to go on the move. I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy from Today in St. Louis. MoDOT is getting ready to disrupt your travel plans a bit in North County. Starting Monday, MoDOT will close the eastbound Route 370 exit ramp to southbound Interstate 270. It's going to be closed for 1 week so crews can repair the pavement. The exit ramp will be closed right after the rush hour around 9 o'clock on Monday morning. Drivers will use the Missouri Bottom Road exit ramp to turn around, then head southbound on I-270. That ramp will stay closed through Friday. All of that repaving work depends on good weather. I'll keep you posted if there are any changes. Stay safe out there. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
Coming up, goats helping birds at Carondelet Park. Why these four-legged friends are becoming an important part of revitalizing the area. Thousands gathered in Forest Park for the Celebrate Life 5K honoring organ donors. Many ran for loved ones who donated. Others were registered donors themselves. The event was put together by Mid-America Transplant. They not only aim to raise awareness, but also bust some myths surrounding organ donation.
Doctors and other medical care professionals are committed to doing everything to save your life, to ensure that you have the best possibility of going home each and every day. So we would encourage people to say yes, give life, to join the organ donor registry. Put that symbol on your driver's license the next time you go to the DMV.
Mid-America Transplant says more than 3,500 people in the St. Louis region registered to become an organ donor in 2024. Some four-legged friends can now be spotted walking around Carondelet Park. Local organization Just Us Goats donated these guys to help clear out unwanted plants from the park's bird habitat. It's part of an ongoing revitalization project. If you see these goats in action, you're asked to not feed them or enter their space. They're being monitored and cared for. Just ahead, why you need to look to the skies tomorrow night to see something super. The first supermoon of the year rises tomorrow night. It's one of 3 expected this year. A supermoon happens when a full moon moves closer to Earth in its orbit, so it'll appear bigger than usual. NASA says it can look up to 30% brighter than the dimmest moon of the year. 2 more supermoons are expected to happen this year, one next month and one in December. Well, that's all our time for 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 5 a.m. Sports Plus with Frank Cusimano is next. Stay informed, stay thoughtful. Good night, St. Louis.